Basically fireworks, not a rocket launcher. Good day everyone, my name is Vincent Shine, aka Sailor Vince. A little bit of a background on me, I was a navigation officer and I worked for the Canadian Coast Guard for more than 4 years. I took part in multiple operations around the country, including the Arctic. Today we'll be reviewing Captain Phillips, a movie based on a real incident during which a merchant vessel, Marsec, Alabama, was taken hostage by Somali pirates. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Yeah, some company will actually fly you to Attache Port. I was not that lucky. I had to drive about 11 hours every single month to get to my Attache Port. That sucked. Yeah, usually the car wouldn't be allowed to be that close to the loading zone. Also, the captain should be wearing a hard hat as he's approaching. That has been said, during crew change day, sometimes they're a little bit more relaxed on rules. Okay, interesting. So, what's happening here, I believe, is that every single ship has a sort of code, which refers to like the level of danger you're into and the procedures that goes with it. So, the commercial ships have their own, the Canadian Coast Guard has their own, and the Navy ships has their own. And I think the best example would be the Navy ships. If they're sailing in their own territorial water during time of peace, then like hatches and doors can be open, people can go on open decks. If they're going through dangerous waters, then like certain hatches must be closed, people should avoid open decks. And if they're fired upon, then every hatches should be closed, and on top of that, like certain sectors or areas should be avoided. Now, here in this example, Captain Phillips is about to sail through potential pirate waters, so like certain cages and hatches should be closed, and they're not, so that's why he's upset.
Then we're on our own down the coast.
So, it might be hard to see on camera, but on their paper chart, they only have like straight up lines to like represent the passage. But if you want to do it correctly, you're also supposed to like write down the course you're going to. So for example, if you have a course going this way, then you have to put an arrow saying like if you're going this way or that way. And you also have to say like the angle of the course. Is it 230 degrees, 235 degrees? And then what is it based on? Are you following the gyro compass? Are you following the magnetic compass? Now, nowadays, most ships sail with electronic charts, so that's why they don't put like so much work anymore on paper charts. But if you want to do it correctly, you're supposed to put your course on it. Real talk. Huh, they even got a tugboat for the scene. Impressive. Okay, that's actually very realistic. That's how a departure would go. Ugh. I hate it when captains do that. So, yes, the captain is entitled to discipline his crew. That has been said. That shouldn't be his job. That should be the bosun. He's the one supervising the sailors. He knows if they need to be disciplined or like maybe he's giving them a longer break because they started earlier. See, a healthy hierarchy aboard a ship is all about not abusing your power and letting the supervisors deal with their own team. Yeah, another thing that they got right is that officers in the Coast Guard and in the Navy, they have to wear their uniforms every single day. But on commercial lines, officers wear their uniform during departure and arrival, and after that, they're just like dressed like normal people.
Shane, I want to do some security drills, unannounced, starting now.
Another thing that I hate Unannounced fire drill. So it is required by the law that we have to do a safety drill every single trip. That has been said, you usually give a heads up to most of your crew just to say like, hey, we're gonna have this drill today at this hour, so like get ready. Because keep in mind, on a ship, there's always somebody sleeping, always somebody in the process of a complicated task. Like for example, cooks, they have to secure the kitchen. They can't just leave the cauldron like flying around as you do the drill. So that's why like it makes sense for a drill to be announced. But from my experience, it causes so much trouble. So yeah, I hate unannounced fire drills. So the pirates are showing up during the drill. How convenient.
Coffee, Alabama, you should alert your crew, get your fire hoses ready, and follow lockdown procedures.
Yeah, is that it?
I'm relaying your transmission now, but chances are it's just fishermen.
They're not here to fish.
Yeah, okay, that was wrong. So when you're working at like the Maritime Traffic Service or like Maritime Emergency Line or Maritime Search and Rescue Center, you can't say to people like, "Oh, it's just fishermen. Don't worry about it," or like, "It's just a technical problem." It's not your place. You can give directions, but you're not there to like suggest if the situation is bad or not. It's just not professional.
Coalition Warship 237, this is Maersk, Alabama. Coalition Warship 237, Maersk, Alabama. Go, Alabama. Opposition is...
Yeah, I guess that would work. So, what he's doing here is that he's tricking them by faking the fact that a warship is coming to help them. Now, the thing is, like, everyone is on VHF Radio on a general channel, usually channel 16. And the thing is, like, there's no way to know who sent a transmission or, like, where it came from. So, that's why we need to identify ourselves before every transmission. For example, let's say Mario's trying to call Luigi. Luigi, this is Mario. I find the princess. I found the princess. And then I would answer something like, Mario, this is Luigi. Copy that. Now the thing is, if you're a good voiceover, then you can pretend to be both Mario and Luigi over the radio, and there wouldn't be any way to know. So that's what he's doing here.
Yeah, cancel the limits. 129. Yeah, you're right on the edge with cylinder number 5. Do it.
Okay, so what just happened here is that the captain asked the chief engineer to cancel the speed limit. So there's like a certain threshold which, if the engines go above, it could damage them seriously. So that's why we always stay below that. And the only time I saw in my career when the captain asked to cancel the limit was when I was working on an icebreaker and the ship was stuck in a block of ice drifting to shore. So that's why the captain asked to cancel the speed limits, because we needed to get there in time and have enough power to break that ice to free that ship before they go aground. When you do that, you shouldn't do that for long, and it shouldn't happen very often, only in critical situations like this one, because like otherwise you will break your engines.
Port 5.
Yeah, the wake of the ship. So, in my classes, when we learn how to chase the boat or like pace the speed, you need to avoid the wake of the boat, which is like right behind it. What you usually do, let's say that's the boat you're pursuing, you always keep a distance away from the wake, and then you go along the edge before you reach the boat, because like otherwise it gets very chaotic.
We all just went through a dangerous situation. 2 skiffs.
Yeah, every crew meeting that I had was always in the galley or the cafeteria, if you prefer. That's pretty much the only place where you could like put all your crew together.
The ship performed well.
Wait, I'm a union guy, okay? 25 years, all right? And
I'm telling you right
Yeah, it's very common in the crew to have like one of the sailor also part of the union or like representing the union on board. Very common.
Look, our job is to move the cargo as fast as possible. That's the job. Well, now, if anybody doesn't like it, if anybody wants to get off the ship, if anybody doesn't like this route between Salalah and Djibouti and Mombasa, come up to my office and we'll sign the paperwork per the union, and you'll be on the first flight home out of Mombasa.
Yeah, that's a very risky bet. So I get it. It's like a leadership technique to encourage people to follow your decision. But the thing is, the law requires you to have like a certain a minimum amount of people filling certain roles if you want to be able to sail. So for example, if I don't have my chief engineer, or if I don't have my bosun, or if I don't have my chief mate, I am not allowed to leave port. So like his whole speech about like, yeah, you can go home and like we'll keep going on without you. That's a very risky bet.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Take the hoses!
Yeah, believe it or not, that's actually part of the procedure. If someone is trying to board you, like pirates, you're supposed to try to repel them with fire hoses. That has been said. If someone were to like fire at my crew, like even just point their weapons at them, like I would get them all back inside. Like forget the hoses. Now on this ship, lucky for them, the hoses are actually fixed to the rails, which is good. Are you? Just stay down. Just stay down. Oh my god. No way. I would have never let a crew member like risk his life for a freaking hose. There's no way. Okay. If someone were to actually fire a distress flare at me, I would also freak out because like these things go pretty fast. That has been said, like there's no way they can be that accurate. Like as soon as you release them, you usually point them at the air and then they just go like haywire in a general direction. So like yeah, definitely they wouldn't be like going in such a straight line. Basically fireworks, not a rocket launcher. Yeah, getting shot for a hose. Really. No, you don't. You don't broadcast where you assemble your crew. If the pirates are in this line, like if by any chance they're on this channel, you just told them where all your crew is hiding. Usually, like that's why we do drills. That's why we do procedures. They're supposed to know, your crew is supposed to know where to go during an emergency situation. And they're in. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why isn't the captain going with the rest of the crew to the engine room to be safe? The thing is, like, no matter what is going on, you always need somebody on the bridge. This is like the command center. You always need someone there.
If the pirates find you, remember, you know the ship, they don't. Make them feel like they're in charge, but keep...
Again, I don't understand why he's giving the instructions by radio. Again, if the pirates are on this channel, you're giving them all your instructions. You don't even need the radio. There is a telephone giving you a direct line to the engine room. This is much safer this way. Okay, so what's going on in the scene is that they cut off the main power, so like that's why nothing is working anymore on the bridge. That has been said. When you cut off the main power, usually the emergency power kicks in, and pretty much all the instruments in the bridge is connected to it. So technically speaking, the bridge should still be functional even if they cut the main power. So yeah. Okay, in all the procedures that we have, if you're taking hostage, do not play the hero. Always collaborate with the people keeping you hostage, because like playing the hero will just provoke them. it's so against every safety procedures that we have. You never play the hero. Again, don't play the hero in that kind of situation. I find this whole scene about like the captain sacrificing himself for his crew very silly, very hard to believe.
You're not just a fisherman. You're not just a fisherman.
Again, a nice dramatic scene. I like the tension, but in a real situation like that, you do not provoke them. I gotta say, as much as I disagree about the way he runs his ship, I cannot imagine going through all the stuff he did. It must have been such a traumatizing experience. Alright, so that was Captain Phillips. And I gotta say, it is a really good movie. Overall, very realistic. The only part that I didn't like was the action scenes where they came up with those silly plans and sometimes that didn't make any sense. Or the dramatic scenes where the captain had to play the hero. What I did like was the scenes where they were showing their everyday life on a boat, what the job was about, or the procedures we had to follow. Very well done. So, if I had to give a score to this movie, I would go for 8.5 out of 10. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And if there is any other movies or video games related to boats that you would like me to review, just leave the title in the comment section below. And as always, sail safe.